Space YouTube page open?
Yep. Okay. Hold on a sec.
Shiloh, do you guys have that open?
I don't. Do you need me to?
It's not a
It's
huge,
up for you.
Yeah, it's
we
up to
are
you.
live.
That's just where the comments are going to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 9 p.m. on a Monday night. In fact, it's October 24th, and this is Crime and Culture Live. I'm Tim here tonight with Lance. What's going on, Lance?
Well, we're here about 7 days away from Halloween, and I noticed that we received a couple of weird looks when you said 9 p.m. It is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, but for our guests, our fine guests, it is 6 p.m. because they are over on the West Coast, and I just got to do this before we get into it.
What was that?
It sounded so weird.
I don't hear it.
We don't hear anything.
Something wrong with my system?
You're
here?
just smiling and nodding. That's it.
I think it's
God.
not close enough to your microphone.
It was right on my mic. You know what's happening here? My mic is not even set. Oh. Well. Anyway, it was Shiloh by Neil Diamond.
Okay. Well, we are here tonight, and if you do want to check out the comments and join in the conversation, you can do so at youtube.com/crawlspace. That's where the crowd tends to congregate, but we should be live on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, maybe TikTok. I don't know. Maybe Instagram. Who knows? We don't know. But here we are tonight, joined by Dr. Shiloh and her daughter, Sydney. How are you two doing tonight?
Hi, guys. We're doing well. Thanks for having us.
I'm doing good.
Sydney's not sure how she's feeling with her first live stream.
It's okay. There's only 42,000 people watching. We're actually streaming it to Times Square as well. But Tim, you're playing with fire there by not introducing Lori the doll.
Oh. This is Lori. She's
Right.
Sydney can introduce her.
She's 37 years old. And she owns this doll. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
Well, enough said.
Yeah. I want to get into this for sure. But first, I want to say hello to the chat room that is joining via YouTube, youtube.com/crawlspace. And we got Shannon in there. We got Ginger Spice, Critty Cat's in there. Hello, everybody. Come say hi. And okay, so Shiloh and Sydney, you've got several podcasts. Between the two of you, you've got at least 3 podcasts that I know of off the top of my head.
Yes.
Can you describe these podcasts to us?
It's like Sydney has no respect for my life and my time. She's just like, Mom, I need to produce another podcast with you. You want to tell them about your first podcast?
Okay, so my first podcast is called Career Quest. I basically interview people for their jobs, and like I talk about like their experiences and stuff on there. And it's for kids. Yes.
You interview people for a job, or you interview people about their current jobs?
About their current jobs.
Oh, okay. That is awesome. Where did you get that idea?
I don't remember. That was a long time ago.
It was. I obviously, I think she saw that I was doing podcasting from home and took an interest in it. And she decided one day that she wanted to start her own podcast. So her dad and I said, come up with an idea and we'll support it. It's easy enough to do now that I know what I'm doing. And that's what she came up with. She said that, if I remember correctly, she said, I want to help kids decide what they want to be when they grow up. So why don't I just interview a different adult about their job every week? And that's when she was 7 that she came up with this idea.
Oh God, I'm a mastermind.
I know. I was like, it's brilliant. You'll make $1 million. We'll all be living off of you one day. And yeah, so we put out the first season in 2019. So she's done 3 seasons and it drops every January. She does 10 episodes a season.
Fantastic.
Well, that is amazing. Such a great idea. And did it help you decide what you want to do, or just getting some insight into a lot of careers?
Kind of, like I got to pick what like I kind of like wanted to do, but I don't think I've interviewed anybody about the job I want yet.
True, but I feel like when you interviewed the executive director of Heritage Square, you got the idea. So why don't you tell them about like how that prompted you to think about what you want to do now?
So like when I was interviewing her, she was like, and like how they move the furniture around and like the
tell them what
houses.
Heritage Square is.
Oh, Heritage Square Museum is this place in LA with all these old Victorian houses that were like taken there because they were going to be like torn down. So they basically saved them there and like restore them and like keep them there. Like,
okay. So then Tim's nodding his head. I feel like you guys know this place
Yes.
from being in LA before.
I never visited, but I was familiar with the name. Yeah.
Yeah. So then you were interviewing her.
Yeah, and she was talking about how they like move the furniture around, and I was saying how like I love like doing that. I don't know, like games and stuff, and like just seeing like the final product is like so amazing to me. So
she thought she might be interested in interior design.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where she's leaning right now.
I was just going to say, this sounds like a classic interior design career path, but I got to back it up just a little bit. How did you find, well, you're obviously from that area. So is this something that's sort of like a staple there? Like everyone knows about it?
Say so. I mean, it's it's right off of the oldest freeway in Los Angeles, the 110 down through Highland Park area of Los Angeles. And I think it's one of those places that everyone sees and they're like, what is that? Because you see these old Victorian homes that are gorgeous. They have an old church.
they're like poking out of the trees.
Yeah. I mean, I went there with my mom and grandmother as a kid for a Christmas fair, and they have tons and tons of events, especially.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yes.
Oh.
So it's been around a really
Exclusives.
long time. And they have wonderful events. And actually the executive director is a Patreon member of LA Not So Confidential. And so we reached out to her for Sydney to interview her because Sydney just loves Heritage Square. She's a very old soul and loves everything vintage and Victorian. And has been able to, she actually did some volunteer work there this summer and at one of their events recently. So it's definitely our home away from home.
That's amazing. Before we continue this, just a couple of quick comments that I want to get out of the way. Shannon said 5-star pod, Career Quest, 5-star podcast, and said Sydney's skills, her interview skills are beyond compare.
Seriously, I don't know how she does it. Like I do, interviewing people is not my favorite thing. And the fact that she gets on there and interviews adults. And then at some point, we went through all the adults basically that we know. So we had to start interviewing people she didn't know personally. I mean, that for a 8, 9, 10-year-old, that just blows my mind.
Now, do you feel like because you're, 10 years old, interviewing adults, can you get more out of the adults? Do you feel like that's like your strength?
They let their guard down around you.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, actually, to be honest.
What was your most surprising like interview that you interviewed someone that you were like, oh my gosh, I just interviewed this person as a kid?
I don't know.
Was it like the mayor, the Broadway
The mayor.
actress?
Oh, definitely the Broadway actress. She was amazing. Like,
Continue.
I loved her.
Also, the mayor?
Yeah.
She interviewed the mayor of Pomona, which is a city here in Los Angeles County.
How did you connect? How did you get that interview?
My father.
Okay.
It was great though. Like she was so proud of herself. It was her season finale for season 2.
Oh,
And I remember she was running around the house afterwards. She's like, I just interviewed a mayor.
I
Nice.
totally forgot about that. But yeah, that was such an amazing feeling.
Very
Just like-
cool.
And who is the Broadway act? You said a Broadway actress?
Sharon.
Mhm.
She has like the best energy. She's amazing. I don't even know.
She's a friend of Dr. Scott's. And tell him what show she's doing.
She's doing Wicked.
On Broadway. She's there right now.
Oh, wow.
How cool.
What is she? What character is she playing in Wicked?
She's Madame Morrible.
I wish I could nod and be
Just
like,
the
"Oh, yeah."
silence. Just the silence. Nobody knows.
I know. I feel terrible because that show's been around for like 30 years or something. And
Yeah, come on, guys.
I know. Sorry. Is that a big role?
I mean, it's a pretty big role.
I mean, if you're in Broadway, probably.
I mean, if you're stepping foot on stage during a production of Wicked, like that's a good, that's a big role in itself.
Indeed.
So, okay. I got to make a note here to see Wicked finally.
yeah, just
Yeah,
at
I
least
know.
YouTube it or something. Come on.
I dropped the ball on that. I know it was playing at the Pantages for years. I never saw it.
So many opportunities.
And Cat says Wicked is rad. Morrible the Horrible, says Shannon. Is that or she's just saying?
I don't
she's
know
just
what
saying
Shannon's saying, but yeah, Madame Morrible is the character.
stuff.
Oh, Shannon said she's going to take me. Thank you, Shannon.
Aw.
Well, Sydney, tell us about your new podcast, because I am on the edge of my seat about this one. And yeah, this has got me feeling a little uneasy already.
Ooh.
Okay. So basically it's about me sharing my experiences and I can't say interviewing today. What's wrong with me?
I think
Like, so interviewing people for like, I was about to say jobs. I don't do that in my new
Nope.
podcast. I interview like them for their experiences, or like if they're like a medium or like a psychic, or if they're like, I don't know, do you call it ghost hunter? I think you call it ghost hunter.
paranormal investigator.
Yes, that. If they do that, and like, I don't know, like what's their most craziest experiences? Just like,
Sydney's a very spooky kid.
yes.
Like, loves spooky stuff. She doesn't scare me, but tell them about what you mean by your experiences though.
I'm just trying to figure out a way. Like,
That's okay.
how should I give an example? I don't know.
Talk about when it first started.
Oh, mine.
Yes, yours.
Oh, you just said explain experiences. Okay. So I guess it first started kind of last year when weird stuff started happening. I was like, I don't know, sleeping or whatever, and I'm just like sleeping, and then I feel like a breath on my ear. Like I also hear it. Like it's the weirdest, like it literally felt like someone was breathing on my ear when I was sleeping. And so I got super scared. And what a kid does, they just put their head under the covers. So that's exactly what I did. And I did that probably for like 2 nights. And then like I was like, whatever, it was probably just the wind or whatever. And so I stick my head out and I feel something like press down on my head, like trying to push me back down. And that scared me. So obviously I just put my head back under the covers and acted like nothing happened. But then I don't know, maybe a month or a few weeks later, I like was brushing out all my doll's hair for no reason because I have a problem. But so I was just doing that, and I see out of the corner of my eye behind me, I see like this foot, just like a foot, like
a disembodied foot.
Yeah, like it was like black, like a like black colored foot. Why can't I speak?
Was it?
Oh my God.
Was there a shoe on the foot?
No,
Or
it was like
barefoot?
a straight up barefoot. and it looked like it was about to take a step. And so I turn around and it's totally gone. And
Wait, did you see this in a?
we've lived in this house for 17 years up until that point.
nothing.
Never experienced anything. And my husband and I were skeptics. See how she gave me that side eye? Not anymore.
Like, if you dare say that, get off this live stream.
But it was like nothing before this.
Okay.
So like, I just saw that, and I didn't speak of it for probably months. And then,
Oh, okay. Sorry to interrupt. I need to take it back to when you saw the foot. You were brushing that doll's hair.
No, I didn't have her yet.
Okay, different doll. Was this like through a mirror? You saw it through a mirror and you turned around, or you said
No,
like out of the corner of
I
your
was
eye?
just like, I don't know what I was doing. I just like kind of turned around and I saw the corner of my eye behind me, like just a foot, and then I fully turned around and it was gone.
Okay.
And I was going to ask if you immediately told anybody, but then you just said that it was a couple of months or a few months before you said anything.
Yeah, I didn't say anything. I literally remember just throwing the doll across my room or whatever and going up to my mom and be like, hey, what are you doing? Just like, I literally went up to you on your bed, just, so what are you doing on your computer? Like,
Didn't tell me, but came to just,
just
be in a safe space.
don't let me be alone.
Yeah.
So,
And when you turned, it was gone.
yeah.
Okay.
Like-
And what made you decide to tell your mom eventually?
I don't really remember. It might have been when I got her that I started telling you.
It seemed like from the timeline that I can gather, because she didn't tell me right away, but soon after that, she started getting more interested in sort of paranormal things.
Mhm.
YouTube is a wealth of information. So
Thank
of
you,
course,
YouTube.
kind of like looking at other people's experiences there, I think. And then it was just before Christmas last year, right?
Yeah.
That we ended up finding Lori. So Lori, the doll used to be mine. And I had a whole collection of porcelain dolls that are up in a box in the garage somewhere. And so we were either getting Halloween or Christmas decorations down.
Nope. I just
No?
wanted to see them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I just straight up wanted to see
So we
them.
got those down, and then Lori really Sydney really connected with Lori. But by that time, you didn't have dowsing rods.
No,
yet.
I was using the Spirit Box app.
Tell them what a spirit box app is.
So basically on my phone, I have this app called like Necrophonic, and I don't know how to explain, just like it says, I guess, what they say, like it connects with them. I'm sorry, I hate you. And when I asked if this one was haunted, because for some reason I was doing that, it just kept repeating Lori, 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 just like over and over. And then finally I asked it again and it said yes. So I just like kept it.
So we kept Lori.
But like, I really want to talk about a weird experience that I didn't share on my podcast in the introduction.
Okay.
So I was in the office. I was like over there. You can't see it, at my dad's desk doing homework. And I was just like staring off at the wall for no reason because I didn't want to do my homework. Who does? Nobody.
Great question.
Yes. And I just get this like weird picture of this lady. She like has her hands on my shoulders and she's just standing there looking down at me. And it was so freaky because it just came out of nowhere.
So this was just a vision in your head.
Yeah. Like it just came out of nowhere. And I just like turn around, nothing there, obviously. And when you had your desk over behind us, I turned around and I told you like what happened. And you're like, weird. Now continue doing your homework. Just like,
so it was around that time that Sydney started realizing that she was having some experiences that were connecting her more with energies, paranormal, spirits. And she kind of leaned into that and is learning to navigate that territory. So I think that's also really the theme throughout the podcast, is her just sort of talking out how this has all come to be in the last year or so, and how she's trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
When you had this image of the woman with her hands on your shoulders, this was something that popped into your head. Were your eyes open or closed? Did it
They were
cause
open.
you? They were open. Okay. And then just pop right in your head.
Yeah.
What did you, were you able to make out what she looked like or how old she was?
She had like long hair. To be honest, she kind of looked like Lori, but I know it's not Lori because she told me it wasn't her.
Okay.
But like, I don't know, maybe 50s or 40s. That's like
Okay.
kind of what she looked like.
And you just said something there that's very interesting that I don't want to ignore. She kind of looked like Lori, the spirit that's haunting your doll, but she told you she wasn't Lori. So
With my dowsing rods.
Lori
okay,
told
let's-
Sydney that it wasn't her.
Yes.
yes. Please tell us this story. So you used your dowsing rods to find out who the woman was?
Yeah, it was probably Christmas when I got it. And so I was just like,
Also a gift from Uncle Scott, the dowsing rods.
Of course.
Of all the
Of course.
gifts that Sydney got, you know, the $15 dowsing rods were her
My
favorite.
favorite. those $15 ones I could have probably like made. Yeah, those are the best ones.
Can't put a price on these things.
Get the hundreds of dollars, you know, spent on her else
Yes.
otherwise.
The $15 one.
So that's primarily how she communicates with Lori.
Yeah.
And so that's how you found out that Lori is 37?
Yes. Like, I think I was like, when I started using them more and kind of connecting with her, I got like that she was kind of like in her 30s and I guess 37. And was it when we were trying to figure out the date she died? I think it was that. It was me and Shelby. We were on a call and we were trying to figure out when Lori died and when she was born. And that's when we found out she was 37.
I just remembered in your in the first trailer to Beyond the Gravestone, you said that I don't know if you said your co-host is Lori, and she
My
doesn't
silent
talk.
co-host.
Silent co-host. And you like say hi, and then there's nothing. It's hilarious.
Yes, I love that. That's
Yeah.
like the best part in it.
Well, what's funny is like I was expecting to hear something too, which made it even funnier.
There you go.
So
Imagine
Shiloh,
if you heard something though. It's like we didn't even edit it in. You
I
just
know.
hear
Oh,
something.
could
Ooh,
you
an
imagine
EMF.
you go back and you look at the audio wave after, and there's like a little blip there, and then you'd like highlight it, and you should
like,
look at that. Yeah.
Just-
so Shiloh, when Sydney starts telling you about this, where's your head at?
So we actually, in episode 3 that will come out, Sydney interviews me about sort of how this all happened, but also my perspective on it. You know, I think being very much a skeptic all my life, okay, but then you hear it from your own kid's mouth, right?
Mhm.
So there's these sort of dual experiences going on for me. And interestingly, I think it was last October, Scott and I did an episode on parapsychology and just kind of looking at research and science and what's there and what isn't yet. And through that experience, I really came away saying, okay, I think there's a lot science can't explain yet. And then that's my comfortable spot to kind of be with this. And don't doubt her for a second. I haven't from the beginning. And I've always wanted her to just feel supported. And whatever this experience will lead to, whether her gifts sort of strengthen or, you know, maybe one day they kind of fizzle out because she gets older and she becomes an adult and is, you know, consumed by all the adult stuff. I know. That's so sad.
I'm just like, you better not say something wrong. I'm
You know,
like staring at you the whole time.
We're just kind of writing it for what it is. But I know she's in a place where she's very comfortable letting us know about experiences. I've always been that skeptic that's like, okay, I'm skeptical, but I want to know all the stories. Like, tell me everything and let's go to spooky places. So I think that feeds her well too, because I'll find locations. And, you know, when we were in Savannah with you, Lance, was like, all right, we're definitely booking a ghost tour, and checking all of our pictures and videos afterwards to see if we caught anything. So, you know, that piece is certainly fun. I still have yet to really have any experiences. Have I heard something in the house? I know
You heard like that little girl that me and Shelby were talking to say mom, like,
yeah, I thought I have heard Sydney saying mom, which is probably like the most common word that's uttered in this house. So
and then you'll come in and I'll be like, what?
I
Like,
asked
what do you
if
want
it's
from
her.
me?
But then recently my husband also thought he heard her saying mom,
Yeah.
and I wasn't home.
He thought
so
it was
he was
coming like from the gym, and he comes in and I'm in my room.
yeah. So yeah, I really, but I haven't had anything else solid other than that I've experienced. But I honestly, I think I'm pretty closed off to it. So
Jeez.
Okay. Now tell me more about Lori the doll. And you mentioned the house. This house seems like a house of horrors at this point. No, I'm just kidding.
Voices. There's probably flies that are all over the windows.
Yeah.
Were there have there been experiences in the house before? You know, the past like year or so.
No, I mean, I think when we started talking about this, my dad, who comes down and stays pretty often with us, he comes down several times a year from Northern California and will stay for weeks. You know, he finally said to Sydney, like, oh, I've like seen shadows in the house before. Which
What are you bringing here?
and now that I'm thinking about it, I think he's tried to like tell me that before, and I'm like, I don't want to hear it. Just zip where you're at. I don't want to hear it.
Papa.
I know. Papa's
No.
probably watching right now too. So hi. But I mean, really, no. And you know, we've had animals, nothing weird. I will say, of course, this is in hindsight. I remember getting a very eerie feeling when she was a baby one time, where she was sort of looking up into the hallway up towards the ceiling. Seemed like she was interacting with something. And I was just like, okay, don't even turn around.
Always when you're a
Babies
baby.
do this.
It's always when you're a baby.
But it was just once. It was just once.
It was only once.
All it takes is once.
I know. Oh, and
True.
we set out the REM pod,
Right there.
this device in
So
the
if
back
it
of the
goes-
room.
yeah.
if you hear something go off, it's at, yeah.
You have to be close to it to.
Oh my God. Hold on. I need to
oh,
reset it now.
sorry.
What you did.
We got to reset the REM pod.
You have to reset it now.
Huh. Stop.
Here,
Oh, Lord.
turn it off. Turn it back on.
You broke it.
I broke it.
No, you didn't. You better not.
Okay.
This cost me a lot of money.
Did she bought it on her own? Okay.
So we have somebody in the chat named SC that says we need to take Sid to Northern State Hospital here in Washington.
Oh,
Is that
okay.
Sasa?
Yes, that probably is my aunt.
What is
No, we were
Northern
just-
State?
Yeah, we
Hospital.
were just in Seattle earlier this month. Geez, I can't even remember. Yeah, earlier
What's wrong with you?
this month. And did we do anything while we were there? Did he go hunting?
No.
We didn't really get a chance
Dare
to.
you?
But it was great for Sydney. Loves the podcast festival vibe. She got to network with some spooky podcasts, and she's hoping to have a table at a festival one of these days.
Please.
So the
Very
hospital,
cool.
Northern State Hospital.
Yeah, that's in Washington. I think it's
Is it haunted?
I'm from what I understand, it's supposed to be. It's an old asylum, perhaps.
Oh.
That's now abandoned. I don't know.
Oh, abandoned.
So do you
She
think that
made
this
it
will
sound like
be?
it's still up and running?
Will this be like a special season of Beyond the Gravestone where you travel to haunted locations and maybe bring Lori with you and some dowsing rods?
Well, one, I always bring my dancing rods and Lori.
Lori is part of the family. She goes.
She
She's
was in our Christmas photos.
She was in our Christmas card last year. Christmas photos. She's traveled to more places than I did in my first few years of life.
Now, what happens if Lori doesn't make it? What if you pack up the car, you're off for the day, and whoops, we forgot Lori. Too late. We're already stuck in traffic on the freeway. We can't turn around now.
We did that once.
Most likely, like I think most of the time her spirit comes, but she likes staying near her doll.
Okay,
So
and
she'll come and visit.
is there a difference between her spirit? You've mentioned her spirit now. Is that it's connected to the doll, or is it that of someone who was once living?
Well, yeah, she lived once in her life, and when you mean haunted, they're basically attached. It doesn't mean like they see through the doll or they're inside of it, but like they kind of stay near the object they're attached to. Like haunted houses, they have a lot of activity because things are haunted to it. That means they're attached, so they like to stay near the house.
That's pretty cool that like that definition of haunted, because it used to never mean like supernatural. It just used to mean this is something that people are attached to. And then I don't even know where along the lines it became supernatural, but that's what you're saying about Lori, that is the object that she has attached herself to.
Yes.
Yeah, like last week, Sydney and I were at Disneyland, and we did not bring Lori. We brought Lori when we've stayed at the hotel before, but we didn't bring the doll with us.
Yeah.
But Sydney was like, she's definitely here. Like I can tell her energy is here with us. And
the happiness she had during it, like I could feel her happiness. Like she was super excited because I don't think
Haunted Mansion.
Yeah. I'm not sure if she actually went on it.
Oh,
it's ironic. She doesn't like scary things and she's a ghost.
Okay, so it never happened that she was left at home, maybe accidentally, and then she was mad at you,
No, Lori never gets mad. She's so sweet. She would never get mad. She just gets disappointed. Like, I rarely I've probably only seen her sad like once. I've never seen her angry. She like never gets mad.
There is a good energy about this doll. I was holding her when we were on our walking tour in Savannah, and it's so like, it's weird to describe, and that these words are even coming out of my mouth, but she had just like a great energy where I just felt like happy holding her. It wasn't like, oh, I feel safe or secure.
It's just happiness. Like,
yeah,
you're being around someone like you love being around, and like they have this happy energy. It's like that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's make it very clear that even though the doll is haunted by Lori is not a spirit, an entity that is looking to cause any harm. She's just she's just there like with us. You.
Yeah,
she has feelings too, and she's always nice.
Then the next episode that's coming out next week is more about Lori and her story, because Lori has been able to tell us where she was when she passed, a little bit about her background, where she came from, things like that.
I gotta say, a side note here, whenever we have people in the chat room and the chat room suddenly stops chatting, that means everybody is like really into the conversation. So whatever we're talking about right now is really
either that, or I can't help but looking that under your arm, Lance, it just says "but," and I keep getting distracted.
That is perfect placement. Look, butts.
I just noticed that.
Butts.
Perfect.
That's so funny. That's typically how I got my booster and my flu vaccine today in this arm. Nice. So holding it up like this will just like keep it up, because otherwise it just wants to die.
Also centered. Your necklace is very distracting too.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm the necklace. I was gonna string this up behind me and create like a nice scene behind me. This was taken from last year's decorations, and they're so tangled I couldn't like untangle them. So I was just like, I'll just wear it. So anyway, moving on. I just want to say, great conversation. Everybody's into it.
Awesome. Good. Well,
Yes.
Sydney hopes, Lance, that you'll come on and talk about your ghost. Maybe she can interview you about some of your stories.
Oh, well, I really need, like, I feel like if I was your age, Sydney, living in this house, I think I would be experiencing more things. I feel like because my soul has been battered down into my
From adulthood.
adulthood,
You're like, no.
I feel like it's not opening up as much as I want it to, as much as I try to have it open up. But whatever is here is kind of similar, I think, to Lori. It's like a really good energy, and when things do happen, it's very playful. It's not anything that you feel threatened by.
That's good.
So yeah, I just probably need some
You know what?
techniques to open myself up a little.
You know
more.
what, Lance? I don't want to
Hmm.
hear it.
Hmm.
And Sydney, I'm getting this close to not wanting to hear it from you too. This is
Oh,
this is Halloween
God.
season. What the hell?
Have me on.
What are we talking
I-
about
I
here? We're
didn't want
talking
to
about
hear
Casper the Friendly Ghost over here. For Christ's sake!
You want something sinister?
That's
Yes.
not good.
What are we doing here?
Are you the real ghost here?
I'm definitely haunted.
Oh.
Too funny.
Okay. Sorry for that outburst. What about like Annabelle or any of those movies or anything? Are these movies that you've watched at this point?
She hasn't watched Annabelle.
And
Okay.
I wish not to.
She loves like classic stuff. She's like, can we watch Halloween again this year? I'm just like, okay. I
Michael
guess.
Myers Halloween.
Yeah.
Michael Myers.
She really likes classic, like Universal monster stuff.
Yes.
So we did
Oh.
Halloween Horror Nights for the first time this year.
Oh no, don't talk about that.
She lasted a couple of good hours. So
Oh, good.
When it was
Yeah, that's so
daytime.
much fun.
What about the
Yeah.
Twilight Zone?
Well, and it was even worse because it was night. It was even worse.
yeah.
But do you like being having that? Do you like being scared when you're watching a movie?
Sort of. I
Okay.
have to make fun of the characters to make myself not scared.
Oh wow, that's what I do
would
with our
say-
guests when we have guests on the show.
I would say she likes to be intrigued, like a little more curious about it. So I definitely think more of like the paranormal theme rather than like horror jump scare stuff.
Mr. Amon's the real jump scare.
I'm
I'm
sorry
sorry,
about your teachers.
I'm sorry, Mr. Amon. I hope you're not watching this.
This is live, Sydney. You can't take that back.
Can't take it back.
I'm
You're
sorry,
in
Mr.
detention
Amon.
for you tomorrow.
Mr. Amon, please don't be watching.
What about Trick or Treat?
We haven't seen that. I haven't seen that movie.
Oh, really? That's
worth
a really
it?
good one. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really good. It's like an anthology. There's like 3 stories there, and it's on the younger side. Like it's not crazy horror. It's definitely spooky
Okay.
and really interesting and good. But it's
Okay.
not. It's actually like younger horror. I would call it. Yeah. So
Good, yeah.
that might be right. If you're already watching Halloween, I think you'd be okay with Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
Yeah, we balance it. There's a lot of hocus pocus, Beetlejuice in the house too. So
Yes. Good.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I feel like Beetlejuice is a good choice.
Yep. We just watched it last night. Good
Okay.
stuff.
I-
We love this time of year.
Yeah.
I brought this dog.
You got 0?
Oh,
it's just not-
geez.
Oh, it's a mean 0.
That looks demonic.
What happened to him? It's little stubby legs.
Yeah,
Oh, he's a skeleton.
he's a skeleton.
Oh,
Yeah,
I couldn't see that.
Look at
No.
his stubby
It was a-
legs.
it's a gift.
Very cute.
I
Yeah,
liked it.
but when you do this, like this is fun.
That's what you consider fun?
Yeah, it really like these are fun for like 10 seconds, and then they elevate to this like grotesque like howl and like scream. So it's like really disturbing.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, not recommended.
Got it.
I don't know why I brought it up here.
So when does Beyond the Gravestone officially kick off?
Episode 1 came out today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it'll be
Very
dropping
good.
every Monday. The first 3 episodes are her talking about some experiences, but like she was saying, she does want to interview people about their own ghost stories and experiences. And then also people in the industry. She has an interview lined up to talk to someone who does historical research and curates walking tours, a paranormal investigator. And she's hoping to get her favorite psychic medium interviewed, who is someone that Scott and I interviewed for our Behind the Couch live stream. And we're probably going to be doing a paranormal investigation with her at Heritage Square next month. So hopefully she will agree to do Sydney's podcast too, to talk about her experiences.
Very good.
Yeah, she totally will. And your first episode is the introduction, right? We're not missing
Okay.
anything. Okay.
Yeah, that's
So that's
how I got confused. I listened to it. I thought it was an elongated trailer.
Oh, it sort of is a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. It's good.
So
I'm excited.
Yeah, is the entire series going to have that like very, I guess, like relaxed atmosphere, because it's very comforting when you hear it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not spooky to listen to.
Right.
No, I don't want to make it sound scary, because I don't want people to go like, oh, I don't like this stuff. Like,
Exactly. Yeah. Good.
obviously people need to know there's not always good spirits, but still, I don't want to make it seem like they're all bad.
Yeah, exactly. And you said something in that introduction about how some people might have this ability, and some people, like, maybe everybody has this ability, but some people might not have opened themselves up to it, or they don't allow themselves to have it. So I just wanted to get your feelings on that. Do you feel like everybody has the ability to connect with entities that are on the other side, and they're just, for whatever reason, blocking that?
I'm not really sure, but it might be that it's stronger for other people and not as strong for other people. So it might be different for everybody.
But ultimately, everybody has the potential.
Yeah. If they want to, at least.
And probably.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
What's your feelings on Ouija boards? If we're saying, if you have a potential to contact someone from beyond the grave, would you ever say, like, well, the first thing you should do is grab a Ouija board?
No.
So the last thing you should do?
Yes. I feel like it's easier. It's probably easier for, like, I don't know, bad things, demonic things, whatever you want to call it, to communicate through that, because they can basically say anything on that.
So it's not just yes or no.
Yeah.
They have the option to like spell things out.
Yeah.
Things like that.
And they also have like probably like the option to try to summon more things with it, since there's other words on it. So they could, like, I don't know, try to chant something on it.
See, I think that's so interesting, because from my perspective and looking at like culturally and historically, and also through a skeptic lens, right? Like, really, what's the difference between that and dowsing rods? If you're just asking questions and hoping that something moves this object to communicate with you. But every time she has been like, Mom, can I get a Ouija board? Or we see one at a store and I'm like, hell no, you can't. Like, it just has that connotation attached to it.
Yeah. It always has a bad feeling.
But at the end of the day, like, what's the difference? I don't know.
But maybe for the podcast, I think we could probably talk her into this.
Like,
Sydney,
I mean, that bad.
Well, so what do you have? What equipment do you have that you use already?
I have my REM pod back there, my EMF meter, my dowsing rods. I have pendulums. I don't use those as much. I prefer not using those.
The app.
The
Spirit
app.
Box app.
Yeah. My brain.
Your brain.
My brain.
That's basically it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it was really cool. We went to we did an experience at Heritage Square where they kind of taught you every technique that they would use in Victorian times to try and communicate with the dead. And so like in each house, they would teach you a different technique. So there was the pendulum and like holding that over a piece of paper that maybe had some
I actually talked to
writings
Lori
on
that
it.
when
Oh,
I
you
was in
did?
there. Yeah.
Oh, cool. And then like just seeing, a blank piece of paper with a pencil and seeing if something will write through you. Oh, why don't you tell the story when we were they had you hold old objects. Tell that story.
So
Is
we
it
were
spooky?
in
What's that?
Is it spooky?
Is
Yes,
it spooky?
of course it is.
You'll like this one, Tim.
Perfect.
So,
Okay, great.
basically we were staying in the Hale house, and we were like passing around objects, and I got handed that's the Hale house, these old objects, and I got these glasses.
Like eyeglasses, old
Yeah,
eyeglasses.
they're super small too. Like, my God,
People's heads were smaller back then.
they're like dwarfs. So I was holding it, and let me say, I was wearing this jacket, and like it kind of was like, I don't know, like
Had a collar.
It had a collar, and I feel someone's hand go like this on my neck, like a whole entire hand. And the fact that I was like wearing like a collar with the jacket was crazy, and I immediately turned to look at you. I was like,
Yeah, not to mention I was sitting
Like,
right next to you, so I
yeah.
could see if someone had been touching.
I was
you.
like, did you just do that? But like, it was super weird, and I told you. I think I told you right after.
Mhm.
And then after like it was all done, we went in front of that house and turned on the spirit box app and asked who did it, got what the name was again.
So the tour ended. We asked, hey, can we go back over there with our spirit box and just ask a couple questions? And they said, yeah, of course. So the spirit box app was actually very quiet. Usually it's very chatty, and it's hard to like make out a lot of it. But she asked the question, who touched my neck when I was in the house? And clear as day, I heard it say William. And I was like, okay. So we went back over to where the staff was, and we told them what happened. And they said, oh, the house next door, that's the William Perry house. And
Stop it.
no, I'm serious. Yeah, I knew it as the Perry house, but I didn't know the dude's first name. And then I heard that clear as day.
Wow.
So it was on the outside of your jacket, or it went like under the collar?
Like inside, like I felt someone's hand on my neck.
So through the jacket.
Yes.
And said William. All right.
And you
How does
heard
it
that
say it?
too.
I'm just trying to process what I said.
Like, how do you, it just, does it record the spirit box? How does that work? Like,
I kind of want to go get my phone.
It sounds like almost like you're tuning through a radio.
Yep.
Yeah.
And voices come through, and it's like you'll hear voices, male voices, female voices, sort of different tones and things like that. So not the way that Sydney has explained it to me is it's not always like if a woman is speaking through it, it doesn't always come through in a woman's voice. It's just sort of using words that are in there. Does that make sense?
Like, if it sounds like an adult, it might be a kid. Like,
And because you said that basically spirits can kind of present themselves at whatever age they want to, right?
Like Kelsey, she saw her as a little girl, when I see Lori when she's 37.
So Sydney sees Lori in your mind, right? You have not
it's
seen
like
a
these
vision
like vision
of her.
things.
Like she hasn't seen an apparition of Lori.
Yeah, in
but
like person.
Lori communicates with her through your mind, and you also get visions. But when Scott and I were interviewing Kelsey Davies, who's a psychic medium, we were telling her about Lori, and she's like, I think I see Lori in the room, like right here where we were broadcasting. And she's like, but she's presenting as a little girl to me. But they can present kind of however they want or whatever age they want.
Interesting. And
like, I'm just gonna say Lori looks like her doll, except I see her with her hair down. So
yeah. Oh, that totally threw me off my question I was going to ask. Now I have to ask this question instead. So do you think that Lori picked that doll because she saw a resemblance to herself?
Yes. So Lori, like, she wears a dress like this, except her dress is like a lighter blue. But she thought it looked really like her and she thought it was very beautiful. That's why she chose it.
Ooh.
And then she growled.
Why do you want all the bad stuff?
And then blood
How-
came out of her eyes?
Right.
How many people?
Yeah, I'm like waiting for him to say that now.
let me ask you guys a question, Shiloh and Sydney. How many people were at Halloween Horror Nights when you went? Maybe like a dozen, maybe 15 people, something like that.
You mean in our group?
No. How many people were there when you went?
Oh my God. People were waiting in line for like 3 hours for one maze.
Oh, so you're saying that people come from all over, from miles and miles to be scared?
Are you okay?
Yes.
Are you okay? That's just my question.
No, I'm not.
This is a child's podcast. This is not Halloween Horror Nights. We're gonna sage after this, just in case you like.
Yeah,
trying
what
to
are you
bring.
trying to bring in here?
Jordan from the Nighttime podcast just popped in.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. He said, what in the
Yeah.
cursed doll is happening here? Which is a great question, Sydney. Is there a difference between your doll being haunted and being cursed?
Being cursed is like witchcraft, and being haunted is she's attached to the doll.
You didn't
If
even
she was
hesitate.
cursed, I'd throw her into the dumpster.
Wow.
Well,
I'm sorry
have
to
to-
say.
That wouldn't
You
anger
have
the
to-
spirits at all.
you have to burn her though. If she was cursed, you have to burn
dr-
her and
Then
throw her
sink her
into
in the river.
a wood chipper, and then sink her. Put her in a chest and
That's what me
lock
and my
it
friends
with
say.
a
Like if when we
padlock.
get these like weird dolls or see them, me and my friends are like, if we saw that thing in the middle of the night, we'd throw it across our room, throw it out our window into our pool.
Yeah. So like Robert the doll and Annabelle, those are cursed.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm. But the pool's
Okay,
not going to
okay.
do it. I mean, maybe the chlorine will get them eventually, but you
Yeah.
know.
Don't
Yeah.
swallow.
make 'em really
chlorine,
clean.
kids.
So actually when she started, like when she felt the breath on her face, when she saw the foot, we had gone to an estate sale
Oh,
and
God.
we got a doll that was from Jamaica, like a little figurine.
I'm gonna go get the doll.
Okay, go get it.
It's saged now, so it's good.
Yeah, we cleansed that doll, but we
Yeah,
got
don't think it's still haunted.
we got this little doll, and it was after that stuff started happening, and Sydney was like, I don't know about this doll must be cursed. But and she did, she was like, she threw it outside, she left it outside overnight, and I was like, you don't want to piss it off.
Yeah, it's
You
just
better
kinda
go get that
angering
thing.
it.
Yeah, let's cleanse it, let's sage it or something. But I mean, it's a beautiful doll, but this is her.
Wow,
So I didn't know you saw
Oh, that's
her,
beautiful.
right? Yeah.
really cool looking.
I also
So-
brought this just in case we wanted to use the spirit box app.
There's only a few minutes left.
Oh,
I
cool,
guess.
cool.
Yeah.
So there's a giant spider above me.
Oh,
Yes,
lovely.
now, yeah.
Just on cue. It's getting good.
Oh,
Yeah.
You should crawl onto your face.
I'll
Oh
let
my
it.
God, is this what?
Crank
Are you only like this on Halloween?
crank this up.
No, he's like this with our regular guests too.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'm just being a dangus. Sorry.
So
Yeah.
do you where do you get the education for this, Sydney? Like you could, because you're talking about the difference between haunted and cursed, and is this stuff that you're learning on your own?
Hold on.
No, don't bring anything.
Okay,
up.
fine. I was
Just
gonna show
explain it
you.
with your words. These
So-
kids and their devices, you know. Hang on, let me show you.
Mainly Kelsey. She she gives a lot of good advice for it, and a lot of it is like from my learning perspective, like what I've seen with my own experience.
We've asked some people too, like Scott and I are really good friends with the hosts of Holly Weird Paranormal, and Tammy is a paranormal investigator, and we love them and I trust them. And so with everything that Sydney's sort of like, especially these devices and things, I'll run it by her and I'd be like, hey, what do you think about this app? Or, hey, what do you think about this psychic medium that Sydney's watching? You know, are they legit? Are they ethical? I kind of look at it from that perspective too. Lance, I'm worried for you. You keep looking.
I know,
Oh,
like
sorry,
I keep seeing
sorry,
him
just
going
making
like
sure.
this. Like,
See, I'm not afraid of spiders, but I will, like, if it comes down in front of my face, you'll see a reaction. Anyway,
Okay,
go
okay.
on. I will keep my eyes locked on the Zoom screen.
So this it's a really good question, because it's something that we've wanted to navigate too. Like, where is she getting her information? Who is sort of guiding her? I wouldn't say that she necessarily has like a mentor that's helping her. She's not opposed to
I guess
that.
her spirit guide helps her through stuff too.
No, I'm talking about you.
Oh,
but
I thought you were talking about Kelsey.
but we kind of, you know, she watches some stuff. We monitor, we make sure that, you know, what she's watching is kind of meets all that criteria. And I mean, honestly, it's been a pretty good experience thus far. There hasn't been anything crazy or something that she's like,
I'm out of here.
yeah, or that you're like asking us that you want to participate in that we're uncomfortable with. So it's a seance.
Right. So where's the line on that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's a line. There has been an opportunity to go to what they're calling a seance, with a psychic medium locally that I told one is just inconvenient to our schedule. So I was like, I am sure there will be more opportunities. Let's table that. But we might be doing this paranormal investigation next month. Which honestly, I'm kind of nervous. I think I'm more nervous than she is to be there with people who are experienced investigators and psychic mediums. And
every time something like,
God forbid, I actually experience something, I don't know what I will.
Just every time I have a paranormal experience, you're just like, well, that was terrifying. I'm like, no, that was amazing.
She doesn't get scared. Like that first incident is really the only time she's explained to me she's been scared. And she has, since she has heard Lori's voice out loud, 3 occasions now. And yeah, every time I check in with her, like, are you scared? Is that terrifying? You know, tell me. And she's just like,
like when I'm sleeping, I'm just being like, Lori again.
Jordan asked a really good question. Have you tried capturing Lori being animated in any way? For example, filming it in time lapse overnight, leaving it with a microphone overnight, anything like that?
No, I don't know if Lori's spirit is strong enough to like move things. Like she's never done that before. So
yeah,
no.
she has so Sydney's heard her, and that's more recently, like that's just really in the last couple months. She has activated the REM pod.
Yeah, she's not even that good at turning the REM pod
she's
on.
not really that good at it. But she has before. I've been there where Sydney has asked her to, and she's done it.
Yeah,
so
she's good at making the EMF meter go off though.
So maybe her energy is getting a little bit stronger. Maybe that'll be something in the future. But I don't know. We'll have to see. I feel like she and Sydney are kind of learning together, which is weird.
Can you ask her to do it now? Can we get a little REM pod action now?
Do you feel like she's here with us?
She definitely is. I think she's like over there.
Okay.
But I don't know if she'll be able to. I do ask her, but most of the time she can't.
Can you ask her? Just to ask her?
Well, she probably will now after hearing us. She's in the room.
Okay.
Does she have a Zoom account? Can she like call in?
Yeah, she's like, hey y'all.
Every time we like take the doll with us somewhere, I'm just like, is Lori amazed that we're on an airplane right now? Is Lori, because she died what year again?
1923.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't even think to ask that. Yeah, she died in 1923.
She was born in 1886 and died in 1923.
of
Wow,
influenza?
Huh?
He asked what she died of.
Oh, she died in a fire.
Whoa,
Oh my
where?
gosh.
I don't want to do any spoilers for your show though.
So basically, she didn't live here. She lived in Rhode Island, but she came to California to visit her cousin for, I think, his wedding, right?
Yeah,
That's what we figured out a couple of days ago. And in the hotel she was in, she died in a fire in Pasadena.
So we've been trying to do some research. We haven't found anything so
Yet.
far. I really want to like nail down a last name for her, which we kind of think we have, but
Really?
yeah, we're gonna keep trying to do some research with what we've been getting,
Wow.
what Sydney's
Well,
been getting. I don't have
What,
any part.
Yeah.
What's the what do you think the last name is? I'm totally riveted.
Oh my gosh. Can't give it all to you.
Um,
We're gonna
Okay,
do our
all
own
right, all right.
investigation, Lance.
Gail or something. Gail.
Yeah.
Well, this
So
is-
she, from what Sydney says, she doesn't I mean, obviously she doesn't like talking about the fire and how she died
Yeah,
and
Lori
things like
doesn't
that.
like
Mm.
talking about she doesn't like talking about like graphic stuff like death. She
Sad
hates that. Like she doesn't like sad stuff.
Okay,
Mhm.
one more question about her. Was she married or was she?
No.
No. Okay.
Not married, no kids. Her mom has come through to Sydney before.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Her mom's super nice too. Like
Yeah.
Well, this
Oh.
is exciting. I can't see where I can't wait to see where this goes. Sydney and Shiloh, I'm really glad that you're going on this journey, and I'm going to be listening to the podcast. And I hope everyone does as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. It's small bites, just like Career Quest. I mean, it's, it, as long as your family's okay with paranormal stuff, I mean, it's kid friendly. I think, that's the only thing that we kind of worry about is people's perspectives. And, even Scott and I felt that after we interviewed Kelsey Davies on our show, people were like, I can't believe you're giving airtime to mysticism. You guys are so evidence-based and, science background. And, you have those people come out of the woodworks every once in a while, but, this is her experience and we're fully supporting her and just kind of eager to see her use this platform to kind of figure out where it fits in our lives.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And anytime you need guests on, let us know. Happy to join.
Yes,
'Cause I'm actually blown away that an hour just went by.
I know.
Oh, really?
Yes.
so it's been like a half an hour.
I know.
Yeah, it flies by, especially when we're talking about haunted things. This was a lot of fun.
It is
I-
a lot.
I had
Yeah.
I had another question about Lori and I totally forgot.
Lori. She's just staring
She's
into
just-
Tim's soul right now.
She's she's the star of the show.
Does she understand the technology?
That's a good question.
Does
Does Lori understand the technology?
Kind of. I guess she's just like kind of figuring it out still. But
Can she help me to get this thing off of me? Because I don't think it's ever coming off because it's tangled and I really
She's
didn't
like,
want it to like
I'd
slide
love
off.
to, but I don't know where you are.
You helping hand here.
Ask your own ghost, Lance.
I'm afraid my ghost will strangle me
Oh God.
Oh,
with
my
this.
It doesn't seem so nice.
It's a playful strangle.
God. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Those are the
lovely.
best kind.
Like me and my friends.
Wow.
Oh, one more quick question. It's kind of like not off the record, but like, who was the name of the person when we were in Savannah and you had asked me if there was somebody there, like someone close to me or something?
Oh, yeah.
It was like Judy or something. I don't
Judy.
know.
It was like Judy or Jane or something, right? It was like a
Yeah.
very simple name. Okay.
Yeah. So when we were in Savannah, at the Savannah Crime Expo, my booth was next to Lance's booth.
Yeah,
And
that's interesting.
we're actually watching a presentation that was on sort of para investigations. Anyway, Sydney said, I'm getting that was she sitting with Lance? Or
I just like felt her energy.
she was like, text Lance and see if he knows a Judy or whatever
And
the
then
name
you
was.
lied.
And then, so I text him and we're trying to be quiet, right? Because there's a presentation in the
sorry.
same room. And then he writes by, yes, exclamation point. And Sydney's like, oh my God, like that's the best confirmation. And then he's like, I'm just kidding.
Lied to me. You lied.
In fairness, we were watching this presentation and I was not aware that this was a question that was coming from Lori and Sydney.
True.
Lori
So-
was in a different room. She was exploring the place. She was
Oh,
like,
We
she
had
was
the
out of there
doll.
though.
We had the
She-
doll.
Yeah, but she was out of there. She was like looking around.
Because we
She
were
was in cat library.
definitely making fun of the guy on stage.
Yes, it was, I had Sydney
feel
sitting
so
in there because I thought it was going to be a good education for her, but she's like, I think I know more than this guy does.
The guy's like, and he's playing the recordings and he's like, you hear that? And we're like, no.
Or he's
No.
like, so what do you think it said? But he had the text up there of what it
And then,
said
like,
already.
Someone was like, Mississippi, and he was like, yes, and it's appearing behind
It's
him.
on the screen.
How'd you know?
Oh, that was
Uh,
good times.
Wow. Thank you, Abby, for the $2 donation
I saw
on
that.
YouTube. Yeah. Oh,
Abby
cool.
Blackbird
Yeah.
Abby, we
all
love
right.
Abby.
with a little
Yeah,
hatchet.
fantastic. A little super chat there. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Shiloh and Sydney. This has been a fun evening. And do you have a costume for Halloween? Do you have a costume ready for next Halloween for next week?
He wants.
Oh.
Just disregard Lance. Tim wants to know. What's your costume?
I'm me and my friend are doing if we were in the purge.
They're gonna be characters from The Purge. That's not
Nice.
terrifying at all.
Yes.
Wow.
BFF.
And Shiloh?
moment.
Shiloh? What are you dressing as?
Well, so we went to a Halloween event
Oh, no,
this
don't tell 'em.
weekend. You don't want me to tell them on live?
Fine.
So Sydney is she does a lot of digital video editing. She makes her own videos, loves anime stuff.
Not love. Okay. I only watch one. Don't go that far.
So her dad and I thought it would be funny to surprise her as characters from My Hero Academia
I,
and dress up.
I would just say that.
And she was mortified. Look, she can't even be in the same room with us.
Oh, wow.
She had to leave you just talking
She had to
about it.
leave. She's so embarrassed by her parents. So we will not wear them again
You better
to,
not.
embarrass her in front of her friends that are coming over on Halloween. I don't know. Do something simple. I'm on call, so I can't go all out anyway.
Gotcha.
Can't show up to a
Okay.
call looking like an anime character.
You could.
You should. Yeah.
I could.
You could, but would they let you continue doing your job?
Probably not.
It would probably be one of the last calls you go to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What about you
Right.
guys? You guys dressing up or doing anything? It's a Monday night, which is kind of bummer.
Yeah. We'll do some trick or treating over here. I wanted to get my two kids. One of them's going to be a cat. One of them's going to be a dog, and I really wanted to be the headless horseman, but it's just a little too much when it's just that gruesome,
Yeah, you should be like a dog catcher or something, like an old timey.
Yeah,
like in Lady
I
and the Tramp.
know.
The shelter guys.
Yeah.
We don't like those.
See, I do this over here too. I'm trying to get everyone like, come on, let's be spookier. Come on, I'm gonna wear a headless costume. No, I'm not gonna
Cover
be
it
a
up.
dog. I'm gonna be an everyday household animal.
Nice. Those are super comfortable though. Just cat, wear some black leggings, black top, put some ears on.
That's what I did for 3 years straight.
Well, in fairness, I'll probably just be Judge Polari again. In fairness, anyway.
And there you go.
You
But
can
it's
can't you
classic.
repurpose that wig for another type of costume?
I probably could. I mean, it's a winner though. The judge.
It is a winner. I mean, yeah.
It brings a smile. People
It's
like
ridiculous.
it. It
Yeah.
is ridiculous. Yeah. Okay. Well, Shiloh and Sydney, thank you so much for joining here tonight. Lance, did you have a costume? Sorry, I didn't want to jump. Do you have
No,
a costume that you're working on
No.
for this year?
no, way too late. Way too late.
Okay.
Kat and I thought that it would be cool to do like a reverse gender Jack Torrance and Wendy. Like I would be
Yes.
Wendy and she would be Jack Torrance, but it was like 3 days ago. And we're like,
Yeah.
it
Well-
gets too. And then we were looking into it, and you can actually get like a Jack Torrance like red like bomber jacket that he wears, and you can really hook it up. But it's like all done. It's like $300. Like okay, what this is. We're not going to a Halloween party, so this would just be for our own amusement.
Right.
Maybe you can just ask John Lorden if you can borrow his red jacket.
Oh, that's a good point. Maybe I'll go as John Lorden.
Even better.
Yeah, I'll
Brilliant.
go as John Lorden.
Now that's truly terrifying.
That is the embodiment of evil.
Yes, for sure.
All right.
Thanks for
All
having
right,
us,
everyone.
you guys. We appreciate
Oh my-
it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate it. And thank you to the chat room, everyone out there, Abby, everyone, Shannon, Aunt Cat, everyone out there, Nighttime Podcast, Erin. Thanks a lot,
And
everyone.
all the 42,000 people watching from Times Square.
And we will be back soon. Thanks a lot.
Listen and subscribe. Beyond the Gravestone
Yes.
and Career Quest.
Yes. Yep.
Find them on your
Thank
favorite
you.
podcatcher.